Okay, so for this problem, this is going to be using a formula. So it says, suppose that you deposit $2,000 in a savings account that pays 4% annual interest, with interest credited to the account at the end of each year. Assuming that no withdrawals are made and that interest is compounded annually, complete parts A and B. So for part A, we're finding the balance after 2 years. Part B, finding the balance after 5 years and 7 months. Okay, so this is the formula that we use for compound interest, and this is the list of all of the things that these letters stand for. So P is our principal amount, so in this case, our principal amount is the $2,000 that we originally deposited. So I'm just going to write that right next to the P. Okay, the R is the annual rate of interest as a decimal, so our interest rate here is going to be 4%. And 4% written as a decimal is 0.04. T is the number of years the amount is deposited or borrowed for. So this is what parts A and B, or where parts A and B are going to come in. So for part A, we're going to have 2 years for T, and then part B, it's going to be 5 years and 7 months, which we are going to have to write this as years. So for part T right now, it is 2. A is the amount of money that we will accumulate, so A is what we're actually looking for, and then N is the number of times the interest is compounded per year. So for us, we're only going to be compounding it once per year. It's compounded annually. So N is just 1. Alright, so plugging these in then, we end up with A is equal to our principal amount. Whoa, sorry if this looks like crap. Okay, times 1 plus R over N, so R is 0.04 divided by N, and N is just 1, which is going to make this nice and easy for us. To the N times T power, so N is 1, T for part A is 2, and then we would just plug this into the formula, or into our calculators. So at this point I'm just simplifying it, and then I see what it's equal to. Okay, and plugging that in, it looks like it's going to be equal to approximately, actually not approximately, exactly $2,163.20. Okay, and then part B says to find the balance for 5 years and 7 months. So this one's just going to be a little bit trickier. So our principal balance is still $2,000. That's what we started with. Our annual rate of interest is still 0.04. The number of years the amount is deposited or borrowed for, this is where it's going to be a little bit trickier. It's 5 years and 7 months. So what we want to think about is how we can translate that into the number of years. So if there's 12 months in a year, all I'm going to do is write it as 5 and 7/12. And typically I'd change this to a decimal to make it easier, but when we change it to a decimal, it actually, it comes out to be some kind of decimal that doesn't terminate, and so it's just easier to leave it as a fraction. And then again, the number of years is just 1. So we need to plug it into the formula. So 2,000 times 1 plus our rate divided by 1 to 1 times 5 and 7/12 power. Okay, so simplifying this, same as before, we're just going to be taking it to a different power. And then that should give you an answer. Okay, and when we plug this into our calculator, this is going to be approximately $2,489.62. So the important thing to remember about this is that it is just a formula, and if it's being compounded annually, then it actually shortens our formula. If it's being compounded annually, that means that the N is just equal to 1. So our formula would look like this. Makes it a little bit shorter. As long as you are only compounding it once per year, you can shorten it to this formula. if you were compounding it more than once a year, so say it said something like compound quarterly, what we would do is just change this 1 into a 4 instead. So it's just a formula. Just need to remember this formula.